Chris, how are you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good.
So Chris, I'll wait for it. So tailbacks averaged 5 yards a carry on Saturday. Did you see some progress there?
I did. You know, we statistically it looks really bad, and you know we haven't been able to get any kind of rhythm or sustain anything in the run game, especially the last 3 weeks. But you know, when you see, you know, we convert some third downs, move the change, and you can get some rhythm going, then you see some positive things there. You know, perfect no, but I thought the backs did a nice job going where they're supposed to go, and we had some good blocking from our tight ends and our line, so there definitely was progress.
What do you think of the rotation you've had up front with really going with 6 guys primarily compared to last year when it was a different scenario and how those guys have done so far?
You know, it's you know, Brian Green's a veteran guy, so I feel comfortable getting him in there. You know, you get some guys get banged up a little bit throughout the weeks in the season, so getting them a blow in a series or two, I think, is a good thing. We're still trying to. There's a couple of younger guys that we're trying to develop and get them closer to where you feel comfortable putting them in, you know, in tough situations. So, you know, Baldwin has been able to get in there and do some things. So it's you know, we need that development and practice. And like I tell them, you know, they got to show me and the staff that, you know, that whole week, you know exactly what you're doing and playing at high level, so we're comfortable putting you in. Because at this point, obviously, every series has been critical. So that's where we're at, just continue to try to develop those young guys.
What do they need to do? I mean, in particular, I mean, obviously guys like Vandemark and Fincher and Baldwin's one of those other guys, but what do those guys need to do to take that step?
You know, and you say continue to develop, right? So it's developing the football IQ to reacting well to things that aren't exactly how you think they're going to be, which happens all the time, right? You practice all week, they give you a different look, they're a new wrinkle. Do they have a football IQ to make the adjustments right now? Some of the younger kids, it's a little harder, right? So that's one part of it. Then the physical part of it, right? Just being able to play at a certain level in the run game and move people and then be technically sound and pass pro. Those are all things, and they're close. You know, if you look at the stats and look at the way things are going right now, nothing looks good. But if you just really analyze the 5 guys up front and watch them each play, you know, none of them are playing at a level where you're like, this guy's got to get replaced. We got to make a change. That hasn't happened. So, you know, it's I got to go with the best guys. At the end of the day, every drive is critical. This isn't the time to experiment. I got to go with the best guys, and that's kind of where we're at right now.
How about the true freshmen? Because
I like them a lot. You know, they our defensive coaches said this is the best group, you know, scout team look they've gotten since they've been here. They're big, they're physical guys. They enjoy the work. They enjoy the physicality of the game. You know, there's no backing off, no complaining. They like it. You know, we've even had to move like Big Dooley, Christian Phillips. We had to put him, throw him in at D tackle on the scout team just so we have a big body to move around. And he jumps in there and loves it. So I really like that group a lot.
What about Elijah last week? Obviously, you know, kind of saw something we haven't seen in a while, and what he's done to earn more carries for you guys.
You know, he practiced well, and his attitude and want to and everything's been really good. And we, you know, Coach Reed's been talking about we need to get him in more, and he got him in there, and I thought he ran really well, ran hard, you know, got extra yards, fought for extra yards, made some people miss, broke some tackles. So, in my opinion, if he keeps practicing like that, playing like that, he's got to get more carries.
You think of the last 3 games, it's been just 6 touchdowns on the ground, and you guys are obviously doing really well in the run game. Is it just the jumping competition, or is it a combination of you guys, you know, execution like Mel and everybody's been talking about?
Yeah, you know, Coach talks about death by inches, and, you know, you talk about coach speak, but it really comes true with what's going on out there right now. You know, if you look at us offensively, you know, most of our possessions are starting back in our territory. And then you look at scoring drives of 9, 12, and 14 plays. You know, most teams, it's hard to sustain for that long. Like, we need some explosive plays. That's really what you look at. We're missing right now with some explosive plays to get some big chunks so we can move it down. And when we've done that in these last couple of games, you've seen us move the ball and get into a rhythm. So we have to do a better job of, you can't have a drop and it's 2nd or 3rd and 10. You can't be at the dang 6-yard line and get a holding penalty. We can't be in a position where we shoot ourselves in the foot because we haven't overcome it yet. And so explosive plays would help us in that world. And we got to be, I want to say perfect, but that's what we got to do. Everybody's got to do their job and execute at a high level.
Was Saturday I guess, least precise? I think it was 5 penalties on the offensive line and 6 when declined. Was that the most that you've seen? I don't even know how to describe that. What would you call that?
Yeah, this for sure this year, because we've been really clean. We had the false start with the center when the nose kind of jumped and he didn't cross the line of scrimmage. You move the ball, can't do it. They're down there and they stem the D line and the guard flinches, can't do it. And then you get the 2 holding penalties. And one was the 6-yard line, and then you watch the film and you got to understand. Instead of this guy being inside technique, he's a head-up technique, so your track's got to be different. You don't do that, you get out of position, and you grab him. Now we're behind the sticks. So, 1 penalty is too much. So we've addressed that at a high level this week, and that should improve.
Because it seems like
you guys built a lot of momentum with recruiting this summer. How has the slow start affected?
It's most football player recruits understand the ebb and flow of what happens. Some of these recruits are losing games that they didn't expect to lose, so they understand it, right? People that are in this world understand that sometimes things don't go right. And then I think also they see, well, hey, this team may not have the depth that we need to be as successful as we want to be. That's a great opportunity for me to come in and maybe get on the field earlier. So, everybody's been really good. Everybody's been very supportive. I think at the end of the day, what these kids really want to look at is what is your culture like? Like, if they see your team laying down in the 4th quarter, then they're not going to want any part of that. But you don't see that with this group. You see the defense balling up at the goal line. You see people playing hard to the end. So they see the culture still there, and everything's in place to be successful here. We're just not getting it done, and maybe they can come in and be the difference. So that's the feel I get.
Chris, have you been happier with the pass blocking than the run blocking? Sort of anecdotally, it seems like maybe that's a little more consistent than the other.
Well, statistically it is. It looks better, but it's again, I want it to be perfect. Like, we shouldn't give up 1 sack, last week, and we did because of a sloppy set, just to be honest. But they've done a pretty nice job to this point of protecting and taking care of Thorne, and so but it's got to be all of it. We got to be consistent across the board. And, we can get into the run game and talk about every play and why it worked and why it didn't work. We always talk about it takes 11 people to be great in a run game, and it truly does. And so everybody has their hand in it, but they have done a pretty nice job protecting the quarterback. We need to continue that. We're going to face some tough challenges coming up.
And you do got a bunch of older guys up there right now. What's sort of been the mood like in that room when these last couple weeks when things maybe haven't gone well? Has it been what you want it to be in terms of the focus and motivation and everything? Because you do have a bunch of older guys.
Yeah, there's frustration. Obviously, everybody's frustrated. But the thing I really like is there's no finger pointing. Like we always talk about. We got to just look at ourselves. If you played the perfect game out there, then you may be in position to look at other people. There's nobody doing that. So what can I do? What can I do as a coach? What can I do as a player to improve every day to get us out of this damn thing? You know what I mean? And so that's kind of the mindset they've had. They're bringing the tight ends and running backs in and meeting extra with them, and they're doing the little things because they want this. They understand what's going on. And they want to stop it and fix it. So I've been really happy with how they've handled it.
Coach, what do you see from Ohio State's defense that you guys are, kind of looking at a little bit of wide-eyed, knowing that this is going to be one heck of a challenge going up against?
Yeah, they're very good. Got really good players. The new defensive coordinator, I think he wants to create chaos. Is what you see is you get a ton of different looks, people lining up in different places. Up front, he wants the secondary to kind of look the same every snap, but then it's completely different post snap. So movement up front with the D line, different pressures. He'll come after you, cover zero blitzes where they're going to have more than you can protect with, and you got to be ready for that. So, when you got a really good scheme and really good players, good things happen. So for us this week, it's going to be really critical that we're not confused or playing confused, because that's what happens. People get hesitant, especially in the old line world. When people are moving around, you're not quite sure. That's when things become really soft and hesitant. Like, we got to know where we're going, make our calls, and let's go. You know, and if something doesn't go right that play, move to the next. We can't play hesitant. We got to play aggressive, and that's going to give us our best chance.
We all know what happened last year. The way the game transpired, and basically guys had abandoned the run game, and you know, obviously Kenneth's ability. How critical is it for you guys to get off to a good start and try and, you know, be able to establish the run, keep the offense in the field, keep the defense, give them a little bit of break, give them time of possession numbers that are against you guys this year?
Yeah, it's starting fast is important for most teams, but where we're at, I think it's critical just for the confidence of everybody. You know, whether it's run, pass, whatever it is, get the ball in the end zone and score some points. You know, we got to put the points on the board, and whatever it takes to get there, that's what we got to do. So we all understand that, and you know, last week you start off a little faster compared to the first 2 weeks, and then we lay an egg in the second half. You know, so we got to find a way to have 4 quarters and be consistent.
Your guard, center guard are all Ohio guys. I'm just wondering, this week, do you notice anything different from them traditionally when this game comes around? That's sometimes been a thing around here.
Yeah, no, you know, like I said, they're veteran guys, you know, so they play them every year, you know what I mean? So I think maybe early in their careers it's different, but, you know, right now it's just everybody's just determined and focused to improve so we can get better and get back in the win column.
Anything else for Coach? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chris.
Thanks, Chris.
Thanks, Chris.